102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:35, and Kenny Wayne Shepherd with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's going to be partly cloudy today and windy. In fact, it's going to be windy for the next couple of days, with gusts that could get up to as high as 40 miles an hour. Otherwise, 25, 30, very breezy couple of days. High at 26 today. Tonight, the wind continues clear, low of 18 for tomorrow, partly cloudy. Again, more winds and a high at 25. It's only 16 degrees right now in downtown Springfield. Another exciting round of Am I the A-Hole? Almost guarantee that coming up. And a lot of other stuff today, too. Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's just about 5:52, and Springsteen on Rock 102.
It's going to be cold out there today with a wind gust up to 40 miles an hour. It's a mix of sun and clouds and a high of 24. It's 16 right now in downtown Springfield, but it feels like 2.
It's cold.
It's very, very cold.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
This one.
Yeah.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Everyone seems to agree that Nikki Glaser crushed it as the host of the Golden Globes, but yesterday she revealed some of the jokes she decided not to use, and they included a few legit burns, if you will. Here's a sample, along with reasons why they were scrapped. Number 1, this is the last time you will all be in the same room together until the Diddy trial.
See, that's a good joke.
Yeah.
That's a real good joke.
Nikki didn't want the audience to turn on her, plus she already had a Diddy joke in her set that she liked a lot better. Number 2, I loved Conclave. It's about the choosing of a new pope. It was heartwarming. It'll touch you so much that the church will have to move it to another theater.
See, that's a good joke.
Yeah, but
she should have kept it.
Somebody said that the Catholic Church pedo jokes are kind of played out. No,
they're not.
It's still going on. You might as well talk about it. If Adrian Brody could go back in time, he would thank baby Hitler for his career. That was a follow-up to Nikki calling Adrian a 2-time Holocaust survivor for starring in the movies The Pianist and The Brutalist. But her Gen Z assistant didn't get it. Apparently, the idea of going back in time and killing baby Hitler is too dated, and she didn't want to lose a whole generation of the joke. Yeah.
Have we forgotten all about the Hitler stuff?
Yeah, a generation that doesn't care one bit about award shows. Who's watching award shows? What's the viewership of these things? They can't be.
I don't even know.
I mean, we're only seeing clips of them, because I don't sit down and watch those whole.
If I sit down and watch, it's like for a half a second.
Yeah.
And then I realize I don't want to watch this, so I'll move on to something else.
Glenn Powell is nominated tonight for the Hitman. Who would have thought you'd be the only second hottest hitman in America? Of course, she's referring to the Luigi Mangione story that has already kind of faded, and the media downplayed his hotness anyway. Number 5, Michael Keaton was so great in Beetlejuice, and Alec Baldwin sadly did not come back to play a ghost because he was too busy making them.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, that's cold.
She even thought that was too mean. But it was such a great joke. She told these jokes and more on the Howard Stern show.
I'm not aware of that.
I've never heard of that before.
But, you also have to consider the crowd you're playing to.
Yeah.
Many of those people would have been reduced to tears in a big, heaving fetal position.
She also said that Harrison Ford told her backstage that, quote, "You're doing a good job." And she revealed what she got paid or what she didn't get paid. She said that comedian Gerard Carmichael was paid $500,000 when he hosted 2 years ago, and she got less than that, but she added, "Next time I'll ask for more money."
Okay. Well, she's kind of on a hot streak. I'm surprised she didn't ask for more money now.
Yeah, but sometimes people just take the opportunities because it's like another way of, elevating you to something else.
True.
But also, what was the conversation in the negotiating table? Oh, well, we could give you $250,000, but the other guy got $500,000. Yes, but
says here the only reason anyone knows you is because you were part of the highest rated highest rated roast of all time.
But
we're going to need to see some more things on this resume.
Yeah, I know your predecessor got more, but do you see the price of eggs right now? We can't afford this.
Can't afford the eggs and you.
Yeah. Let's see. Jennifer Coolidge used her real voice on the Golden Globes red carpet, and people are losing it. One woman has said, "Has my entire life been a lie?" Because she doesn't talk the way she does in the movies.
Yeah, that's a character.
But people don't realize that.
Some people believe that, like Gilbert Gottfried's voice was the voice he used all the time. And it wasn't.
I have to say, meeting him in person was that was the weirdest experience ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was such a nice man. He was a very polite man. He was very soft-spoken, and he was very complimentary, and he wasn't...
Yeah?
But it was just so weird because you're waiting for him to talk like this, but he doesn't.
But when he does, he never disappointed.
Yeah, as soon as the waitress walked into the green room, he's like, "I'll just have a grilled chicken sandwich."
That's right. I know. It's unbelievable.
No gluten-free bun, please. Well, we were just talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
How people aren't the same way they are. Like, we're not the same way we are here that we are in our own homes, or even, sometimes just interacting with people we know that isn't part of the general public.
Once you get me away from a microphone, I'm completely insufferable.
That's right. I can't stand you.
I can't say I
You
blame
are
you.
one miserable SOB,
Oh,
I'll tell
you
you.
have no idea.
Zendaya wore a diamond ring on her engagement finger at the Golden Globe Sunday night. TMZ said it wasn't just bling. Tom Holland popped the question. Sources say it happened between Christmas and New Year's, with Tom dropping into one knee at one of Zendaya's family homes. He asked Zendaya's dad for permission months ago, but waited for the right moment to propose. People said the ring is a 5.02 carat east-west cushion diamond button back ring. This sounds like a Kim Kardashian
Yeah, no
setup.
kidding.
By Jessica McCormack.
Did that cost him 2 months' salary?
Yeah, I think he's got plenty of salary left over, even
I don't
after
know.
buying that. That's a big ring.
I saw a picture of it. It's a huge rock, about the size of a shoe.
I get so tired of hearing these people, like they're flaunting their thing for the poors. Oh, look. We went to one of her family homes to propose.
I still think I got a deal at a noosh.
Aren't you people this interested while you're living in squalor as you hear about my 5.02 carat diamond ring? Huh?
I'm sure all of our homeless watch viewers are enjoying the show.
Right. Kim Kardashian is gushing over Cooper Coach, who played one of the Menendez brothers in that recent thing on Netflix.
I'm sure she must have something to say.
Oh, my God, the last time I gushed this much was when Ray J drank the Chimmy Shimmy beef gravy from the Mississippi tailgate in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95. Did you ever have the Chimmy Shimmy beef gravy?
No, not to my knowledge.
Oh, it's a splat. It's a splat.
Caitlin?
Well, I never got that down and dirty with your mother, Kris Kim, but I once had her quaking like Muhammad Ali on a tumble dryer. She was surging Minge Monsoon faster than snot off a whip.
What are you trying to say?
Wetter than a bathmaid's elbow.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is the seemingly never-ending streams of creamy a la load emanating from my baloney pony soon had her coated like a plasterer's radio. A plasterer's radio.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Is there a plasterer anymore? Can you
I don't
find
know.
a plasterer?
I'm sure there must be somebody who's doing drywall.
Every time I think of that, I think of a French man for some reason. And that's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102. Ah.
Math? Sinex saline nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultrafine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, you know me. I'm not the one to make a quick rush to judgment. I like to take a more cautious approach to wielding my unfair conclusions and accusations. However, there are times when you must look at a situation and say, okay, let me get this straight. This may be one of those times. On Friday, a lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles against former Fox Sports host Skip Bayless. The lawsuit, which was filed by a former Fox Sports hairstylist, claims that Bayless had made repeated unwanted sexual advances towards her. This includes one situation that is alleged to have occurred 4 years ago, where Skip is said to have offered the woman $1.5 million for sex. This financial offer allegedly came after she disclosed a cancer scare in 2021. So, let me get this straight. After you make the painful disclosure to Skip Bayless, of all people, that you might have cancer, he offered to ease your suffering by having sex with you? If I had cancer, that would be the last thing I'd be looking for. Secondly, what sort of lowlife scumbag has to pay $1.5 million for sex with anybody? I've been having sex for nearly my entire adult life virtually for free. That doesn't say that it doesn't come without a cost every now and then, but I'm not paying money for it. Again, no judgments here, although yesterday Stephen A. Smith said on ESPN that the Skip Bayless he knows has a hard time parting with $15, never mind $1.5 million for sex. He also went on to say, quote, he's one of the cheapest people I know. Well, Steve, that may be true, but I typically find myself leaning towards the victims in these cases, so maybe his sixth sense of sexual entitlement requires him to pinch a few pennies. So when he's swooping down and preying on his victims, like the one that just disclosed a delicate health-related vulnerability, he'll be well prepared with financial incentives. All of which I can assume are probably against the law, and I can assume are against company policy as well. So good luck fighting that one, Skip, because it's going to cost you at least another $1.5 million to defend yourself and not get screwed in court. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Are your furnace filters clean? You don't know, do you? Got to go to Rocky's for pleated furnace filters. Get one free. Don't make your furnace work any harder than it has to. Replace your filters 2 for 1 at Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. At 6:11 and AC/DC with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be very windy and cold out there today. Mix of sun and clouds with a high of 24. But the wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. That's a lot. It's pretty chilly out there right now. It's 16, but it feels like 5.
What's a lot is the fact that it's not just lasting for a couple of hours, but for a couple of days. That's kind of unusual.
And then I don't know if you saw this, and it hasn't been quite in the forecast yet. And I don't know why they don't do this. I'm watching these meteorologists on TikTok and all that stuff, and there's this one guy who's pretty accurate, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's like one of these like really weather nerds, like really into it.
Yeah.
And he's like, this won't be out until probably tomorrow, being today, tomorrow night. The European models about this polar vortex that's hitting the country right now.
Right.
Causing all this snow up through the D.C. area and everything yesterday. And there's like another like warm front coming up from the south. And that, when it mixes together, they're showing the European model of how it kind of just big, giant twirl. So we could possibly be looking at like blizzard-like conditions Friday into Saturday.
How awesome would that be?
Even though the forecast is not saying that right now, but we don't follow the European models because, I don't know.
Because they're Europeans, and
we're
can't
Americans.
We're Americans here. We don't care about their political problems. But I don't really care for blizzard conditions at all.
Yeah.
It's never been my thing. So if there's a way we could avoid it, I'd be thrilled with it.
Yeah.
Because I got to fire up my snow blowers in the garage.
Yeah.
It's been fired up. It's working.
Oh, it is. You've done it already.
Yeah, I fired it up. Make sure it's still operational, and it is still working. But I don't necessarily like to use it.
Yeah.
On a weekend. Because it's like by Monday, things could thaw, and everything's packed down. I guess go in and out as I please.
I think with the amount of snow we're getting in, you're going to be definitely using that snow blower.
Ah,
yeah.
Jesus. All right.
Anyway, let's jump some tracks here. Maybe this is a familiar sound from some of you folks out there in your childhood. Ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Look at this. Do you know that sound?
It's familiar.
And the masters of the universe.
Yeah.
I am Adam, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the
This
day
very
I held
effeminate
aloft my
guy,
magic
and
sword
all of a sudden he
and
pulls
said,
a sword from his back and turns his cat into this killer cat.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
Now all he's He-Man.
Ooh, and he's ripped muscles, and he has the power.
Yeah, of Power of Grayskull.
I used to watch this every day. Every day when I came home from school, I could not wait for He-Man and the Masters of the Universe to come on, and just all the stories that would come along, and then they always had like a message at the end of it. You know, it was always like some feel-good lesson. You know, talking about don't get in the car with strangers, don't take candy from people, don't play with fire, like all these safety things.
You know, the same could be said of Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. After the end of each show, Bill Cosby would come on the screen and talk about keeping good care of yourself.
When did they stop doing that?
As soon as Bill Cosby started raping people.
I don't think that. I think it stopped before that.
Are you sure?
Well, I'm talking about like all the other TV shows out there. Remember, we've talked many times about that Different Strokes episode where Gordon Jump was the bike man, and he was making
them eat ice cream off their chest.
Accused of doing some things with Dudley in the back room of the bike shop. And there was, remember, Growing Pains had like a bulimia. There was a thing about bulimia. Mm-hmm. There was all these shows about, things, modern problems. You could have all this funny stuff going on most of the time, but every once in a while they'd come out with a good lesson to teach you.
And then there would be a promo that says, tonight on a very special Who's the Boss?
Right. But at the end of every He-Man show, there was always some kind of good-hearted lesson to do. I don't know why they don't do that anymore.
Because they don't really make cartoons in the same way now. Most cartoons seem to be geared towards like pre-toddler age or toddler age.
Yeah.
Like the Blueies or the
Daniel Tigers.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm not sure I would have wanted like to learn any real life lessons from like Foghorn, Leghorn.
Yeah.
Or any of the cartoons that we used to like.
Yep.
Like Wile E. Coyote after chasing the Roadrunner for 15 minutes was going to sit you down with a little affirmation. It's not going to. It wouldn't mean anything.
Yeah. I mean, Elmer Fudd sitting down going, "Boys and girls, we're going to talk to you about the uses of methamphetamines. If you see something, say something." There's no. Where was the terrorism cartoon in there?
Stranger danger there, boy.
Yeah, stranger danger there, boy. Don't be getting in no cars with no roosters you don't know. But in my quest to be a complete and utter nerd in my life,
yes.
I have this one of those old play school record players. I was telling you about this maybe last month.
Yeah.
It's one of those old ones. It's like it looks like a suitcase, and it's like beige. And it has a white mark around the inside.
And not a close and play.
Okay, describe what a close and play was, because
so the arm for the record player was actually on the top lid of it. In order to get it to play, you had to close the lid, and then at that point, then the needle would hit the record.
No. This was everything was within the briefcase.
Gotcha.
And it had when you open it up, and it's got this orange plate where the record goes.
Mm-hmm.
You could fit a 33, a 45, and you could even play a 78 on it. There's a
boy. Those were the days.
How many kids were listening to 78 records back in the 70s? I mean,
I had a few.
Yeah, but those records they weren't like kids' records. They were like, most of the 78s that I own are like Pee Wee Little and all these trumpet players from the 1920s and 30s.
Yeah, they were always older, but I had a bunch of them. I still do.
But no kid ones.
Not that I can recall.
Yeah. So it got me thinking. I'm like, I used to love, reading the storybook along with the 45s.
And you get the ding, turn the page thing?
Yeah. So, Christmas, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I really want to get one of those records. So I found this place. It's called Astro Record Store. It's on online for $10. I just received today. I guess $10 doesn't get you an immediate rush delivery. But 2 weeks later, I wind up with it still in cellophane. Now, I don't know if this is the original, but this is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, He-Man and Battle-Cat. See the pictures, hear the story, read the book, and you would take the book and you would read along with the record.
Now, is the book maybe in that package?
Oh, you know what? Now we're going to have to open it.
Because I can see like where the cover is part of the book.
Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Yeah. That's because that's the way it used to be. It didn't come like a separate book.
How do you get this stupid cellophane off this thing?
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's like put a condom on the outside of it. Where's the reservoir tip so I can pull it off? I really can't. Give me the scissors. I can't even open this thing.
Okay, here you go.
But I'm really interested in playing this. Today.
It's too bad we didn't have immediate access to a turntable here, and otherwise we could play it and we could all listen to the story.
We used to have all that stuff, and then they got rid of it. We don't even have a turntable in this building anymore.
There's not one across the hall?
No, they got rid of it. It's all gone.
Really?
Yeah. I wish I had known that because I would have taken that thing in a heartbeat.
No kidding. They're not that expensive anymore.
No, but that one probably was. That probably was like a $5,000 turntable. Oh, you're right. It is. The storybook is in here.
Oh, look at that. And you play the record, ding, turn the page, you turn the page, and you learn how to read.
This thing is in like excellent condition too. How about that?
Dude, you gotta play it at home and let me know how it goes. And definitely tell me how the story ends.
I'm gonna wind up doing a TikTok live later on this afternoon.
Smart.
And play it, and then read along with have it read along, and it would be like, ring. They have that ring to turn the page to do the book.
That's awesome.
I'm like super excited. I'm like a kid on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks after Christmas when it finally arrived. With the thing. And I wish they would make these anymore. They don't make, you have MP3s now. Do they do that with storybooks? Like a digital thing?
I don't even know. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Probably because everything is on freaking YouTube.
Probably no kid wants to read a book either.
Yeah. So, just a little piece of my childhood here I shared with you all this morning.
It's 6:21 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
John Hazen here. It seems like yesterday
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:28 and Soundgarden with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
Pretty good chance we got a round of Am I the A-Hole coming up later on this morning, so prepare yourselves for all of that.
There's a 100% chance of that, and there's also a 100% chance that we're going to do a TikTok live video during that time.
Oh,
so
perfect.
If you're on TikTok, join Nagle 102 at 7 o'clock, and we'll turn that on. Somebody wrote in on the Route 10 Tire listener line, 293-1021, texted Steve, during that last segment, Steve, you were sounding like Ted Kennedy. Now, I had a lozenge in my mouth. I had a little cough drop thing going on.
Yeah.
And I said, what, drunk? Or like I'm about to drive a girl into a river?
Did he respond?
Yeah. Well, not quite slurring. So I guess thing. And also from last week, your flight back when the aircraft was about to land, it was called crabbing. That's the pilot lingo.
Oh,
remember I said that the plane was coming in, he's like, he's turning sideways. We flying sideways.
Right.
That's what they call it, crabbing. Do you ever get crabs from a pilot before?
No, I never have. I've never actually had crabs at all.
Well, I'm just saying, when they're flying all over the country like that, they're bound to pick up something, aren't they?
Well, you don't know. You don't know what's coming up on that plane.
I guess not. Are you ready to laugh?
I am ready to laugh.
Right, let's laugh.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
On Rock 102.
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
I heard the Canadian Prime Minister resigned.
Yes.
I don't know if it's Trudeau. You see? You get it? Because his name is Trudeau. But I don't know if it's Trudeau.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
See?
Timely, too.
I spent all night on that one.
6:33. With Bax and Nagle and Rock 102, it's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Chicopee police are looking to identify a person they say attempted to rob a local restaurant. Police say this suspect broke into the Frontera Grill back on December 29th around 2 a.m. They also say the suspect arrived on foot and drilled out the lock on the back door of the restaurant. While inside, the suspect also attempted to break into the ATM. Thankfully, no employees were in the restaurant at the time, and there was no other damage besides the lock on the door. If you recognize the person they have up on their Facebook page, on their video, you're urged to call the Chicopee police. I wonder if they stole that sombrero that you get when you have your birthday there. You ever see that?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
They bring out that big sombrero, and they all come out and sing happy birthday to you?
Sure. I mean, but then you deny everybody fun on their birthday if that's the thing you're going in there for. I mean, I would go in there just for the chips.
Everything there is good. You ever eat there?
Sure. Yeah.
That place is good. The street tacos that they got in there.
Sure.
The chimichangas.
You could make yourself your own margaritas.
Yeah. But I'm like, you're looking for the description of the suspect. Yes, he was wearing all camouflage and a giant sombrero.
That may be the thing that might be the most identifiable.
How many people are walking around with a giant sombrero on their head in Chicopee? Not as many as there used to be. Right. The ringleader arrested in connection with an armed bank robbery on Martha's Vineyard in 2022 was sentenced to prison. According to the Justice Department in Boston, the ringleader, 33-year-old Mikel Antonio Jones of Edgartown, along with co-defendants Omar Johnson of Canterbury, New Hampshire, Romaine Andre of Jamaica, and Trevin Porter of Bridgeport, Connecticut, robbed Rockland Trust Bank branch in Vineyard Haven at gunpoint. You robbed a bank on Martha's Vineyard? Where are you going?
Yeah, was there a getaway moped?
I guess so. On November 17th of 2022, three masked and armed individuals forced their way into the rear door of the bank wearing dark-colored clothing and white masks that resembled an elderly man with exaggerated facial features. Surveillance showed that one was carrying what appeared to be a walkie-talkie. One of the suspects allegedly held a gun to the head of one of the bank employees and forced him to open the bank's vault. Approximately $39,100 was taken, and the employees were bound with duct tape and plastic zip ties. That just goes to show you that there's not that much money inside of a bank.
That's all. $39,000 all they had?
Yeah, I think people assume that there's like millions of dollars inside of a bank vault, but technically it's really only enough cash to keep the bank running, until the next delivery of cash.
Let's do a little bit of a quick math here. $39,000, right?
Yeah.
And there were how many guys involved? Four?
Four, yeah.
Four. All right, divided by four. That means each one of those guys walks out of there with $9,750.
Totally not worth it.
Totally not worth it.
When you hear, these people who go in and they hand a note to the teller and they're like, give me all the money for one cashier at the bank.
Yeah.
And then you find out they only got away with like $3,000. Like that's not a score. I mean, I guess if you're, maybe addicted to drugs or something, and $3,000 will probably get you a lot of drugs or whatever. But I mean, if you're trying to do this as a career,
this was such a wasted effort. And it may seem like they, these guys who are pros, what with their zip ties and everything, but you're walking out of the bank and evenly distributing it to $9,750.
Yeah.
What a waste of effort that is.
This isn't like the Lufthansa heist or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like you took millions of dollars from someplace.
It's not like Al Pacino and John Cazale in Dog Day Afternoon, where they needed that money for a sex change operation. They needed it quick.
Yeah, Clayton, Johnson, and Porter have each pleaded guilty to their roles in the conspiracy and are scheduled to be sentenced tomorrow. Protecting the people of Massachusetts from criminal conduct comes in many forms, and in this case highlights some of the most old-fashioned, blatant, and terrifying criminal behavior we face: armed bank robbery. Mikel Antonio Jones orchestrated and led a calculated and violent robbery that terrorized bank employees and the surrounding community. His conduct left lasting emotional scars, and today he's paying a significant price for his actions. The other thing about this, nobody's really using cash anymore. This is the thing that really got me, like, traveling last week.
Yeah.
Going to the airport. I had probably like $50 in my pocket. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll get a coffee, you get, any number of things inside the airport while we're waiting for the plane to board. Nobody was taking cash. You could not pay cash anywhere at an airport.
It's like at the Mass Mutual Center. You're there for a Thunderbirds game. Let's say you want a couple of glizzies and a soda pop. You can't pay cash. You got to pay on a card. There's no cash exchange. It's a cash-free environment.
But money is money, and why would you turn away somebody who doesn't bring a debit card with them or something like that?
I don't really know. I mean, I'm not walking around with wads of cash either, but I almost would rather pay in cash because, who needs the high interest rate of a credit card?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you want to do that? But apparently there are a lot of places that don't accept cash anymore, which is kind of counterproductive to anybody even having cash in their hand. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, but listen, that's the way things are going.
Yeah, but there are certain things you can't even buy. Like you can't go buy lottery tickets with a credit card.
No, that has to be cash.
Which seems like a big giant scam if you ask me.
The lottery?
Yeah.
A scam? You don't say.
Well, you think about that. This is the one state agency where we won't accept debit cards or anything like that.
For your own protection.
Cash only. Cash only. Kind of makes you wonder where the money's going, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Let's see. There's a former George Jones, a former president and chief executive officer of the Eastern States Exposition, credited with the fair's expansion, has died, the organization reports. The Big E's current CEO, Gene Cassidy, informed board members and trustees Monday with heavy heart that Jones had died. No further details were provided. Cassidy said Jones led the nonprofit organization from 1976 to 1991. He credited Jones with taking steps to expand the fair from 10 to 12 days, and in 1978 saw annual attendance top 1 million for the first time.
Now the Big E can get that in a single afternoon.
Well, how many, what was it, 178,000 in one day?
Yes.
That's a lot of people.
It's an awful lot of people.
Tony Signoli, the Big E board member, called Jones a dynamic and important figure in the organization's history and said his work helped promote agriculture throughout New England. So rest in peace, Mr. Jones. There was another story I wanted to... Oh, yeah, Westfield, celebrating the grand opening of a brand new elementary school. You should see this place.
Really? Where?
It's right on Franklin Street in Westfield. It's next to the I think it's the Army National Guard building.
Okay.
In that area there.
Yeah.
They welcome the brand new elementary school on Monday as students and staff officially moved into the newly built Westfield River Elementary School. Westfield Public School Superintendent Stefan Soprowski was all smiles and shared how thrilled the district is about this beautiful new facility, which he said is sure to make a positive impact on the students. It feels like a place to learn, and we're just really excited. Behind you is our library media center. We have a STEM room. It's just terrific. This is going to be an exciting opportunity for all of our students moving forward. But right in the middle of the school year,
wow,
they moved.
That's I'm looking at pictures now. Nice looking school.
Oh, it's bougie. It's very bougie.
Well, Westfield is a semi-bougie town, don't you think?
Certain areas. I wouldn't necessarily call that area a bougie part of Westfield.
The bougie folk of Westfield.
Now, they
come out for these kinds of things.
Now, the swingers over on Munger Hill. Now, that's a bougie area of town.
That's right. All those upside down pineapples in the yards. You know who's into what.
I really want to know if that's true. There's always been a rumor that the folks over in the Munger Hill area of Westfield have this. There's like a large population of swingers, and you have to look for the pineapples on the doors.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and I don't know of anybody that would say, "Oh yeah, I live over there." It's totally true.
Can you imagine if you were like just this person who never heard of the pineapple thing and you just liked, pineapples and you wanted to put one of those decorations on your front door?
Yeah, and everyone.
And all of a sudden, you get this, you got a train showing up to your neighborhood.
Yeah, meanwhile, you got a bunch of guys in tracksuits wanting to have a little time with you.
Hey, we saw the pineapple out there. You into it or what?
You look like a pretty good-looking chick. What are you saying? You and me start lying on top of each other.
Yeah, and I know you're classy, broads, because I saw that brand new elementary school you got down there in the center of town.
Listen, I don't mean to, wine and dine you, but I got a bottle of Manischewitz that says we can spend the weekend together.
What do you say? Let's go. I'm sure the people of Munger Hill are very happy that we're talking about their neighborhood like that.
Hey, you know what, Munger Hill? Everyone's been talking about your neighborhood like that. We're only two more.
Yeah, and listen, Shaker Farms ain't the only place that has a lot of holes over there. If you know what I'm saying?
That's so
am I
true.
right? Am I right?
That's the Whip City right there.
Whip. Putting the whip in Whip City. That's what we're doing. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 24. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 22. There is a high wind advisory in effect. A wind gust up to 45 miles an hour, making it feel very, very cold out there. It is only 16 degrees, but it feels like 5 in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:52, and Paul McCartney with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Going to be a cold one out there today. Mix of sun and clouds with a high of 24. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 22. The only problem is you got wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour, which makes it feel much colder than that. It's 16 in downtown Springfield, and it feels like 5.
Saturday, February 1st is Bourbon Barbecue and Blues coming back to the Log Cabin in Holyoke from 6 to 9. It's all brought to you by Aqua Pump and Dave Miner Exterior Home Improvements. There are tickets left, but there are not very many that are out there. Admission includes a Green River whiskey tasting, a multi-course meal, plus live music from Neo and the Vipers. A great time. Less than 50 tickets remain. Get yours today at rock102.com before they run out. Bourbon Barbecue and Blues, February 1st, the Log Cabin, brought to you by Aqua Pump, Dave Miner Exterior Home Improvements with some help from Nor'easter Organic Life Hydroponics, and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
You know, there's a bizarre mystery grappling Nottinghamshire, England right now.
Really?
Yeah. Someone is leaving plates of peeled bananas at a street corner, and they've been appearing there every month for an entire year. Or even stranger, they usually show up on the 2nd of every month, and locals can't figure it out. Some think the peeled bananas could be intended for wildlife. Some think it could be some kind of religious offering because there's a church across the street, but most people have no clue what's going on, and nobody's seen anybody.
What kind of banana churches are existing in England? Because I know here in the States, we don't have any that do much with bananas.
You know the Church of the Chiquita?
No.
No?
I don't know very many churches that deal in fresh fruit. Unleavened bread? Sure. Cheap consecrated wine? Sure.
Yeah.
Fresh fruit? Never.
One person put up signs that say, "Please respectfully, no more bananas. The uncollected plates and rotting bananas leave such a mess." But that woman later decided to take the sign down. She said, quote, "I don't really want to make it a feud. I don't want to make it become a thing. I think it's a special thing for someone, and I wish them well. But if they could come back and clean up the mess a few days later, that would be lovely," which is a very British thing to say. It's unclear if any officials are actually looking into this or if any detectives are on the case, but it's 2025, so if you really want to get to the bottom of it, you could really just probably set up some cameras.
Don't they have cameras set up already?
I thought they have that CCTV thing all over the country.
I would think this wouldn't be the toughest crime in the world.
Yeah, see, sometimes I think these things are made up.
No, I believe someone's leaving bananas out.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you be able to see who it is?
That's the thing I don't get.
And if it's showing up on the 2nd of every month, then just leave a camera out there on the night of the 1st.
Or here's an idea. Why don't you just drive to that area on the 2nd Thursday of the month, whatever the hell it is, and wait.
Well, there's always there's different things that people leave everywhere. Up in Southampton, there's this traffic island up there called the Island of Lost Souls, SOLES, because people keep leaving like one shoe on this particular traffic island.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Why anybody would start doing that. I mean, I guess it's kind of fun, but...
Why would you only leave one shoe? How about leaving both shoes so they're actually practical for people?
Because if you left a pair of shoes, it wouldn't be called the Island of Lost Souls. It would be the Island of Found Souls. These are like one shoe from a pair. It's not like people are picking up the shoes and trying them on.
What are these people doing with the other shoe?
I have no idea, and I don't know why anybody would do that. I want to know what happens in the snowstorms when the plows come through. And those shoes
probably push the shoes to the side of the road.
Yeah, but people do dumb things is what I'm trying to get at.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
It's just about 6:57 on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Well, folks, Gerard Mayo's been gone for just over 24 hours, and already everyone's got an opinion. Some people are saying the Patriots didn't give him a chance. Others are wondering what took him so long. Regardless of what your opinion might be, the truth is the Patriots need a new head coach, one that doesn't stink, and perhaps someone with a little bit more experience. When asked if he had spoken to former player Mike Vrabel about the job, Mr. Kraft said yesterday, quote, "There are some wonderful people we've heard about. I'd rather respond to that after we've seen everybody." Now, if you were going to hire Mike Vrabel, wouldn't that mean you've already spoken to everybody? Well, not so fast. Apparently, the Patriots will be entertaining the idea of talking to other people besides Mike Vrabel. Yesterday, it was reported that the Patriots have requested permission to speak with Ben Johnson, the current offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Johnson, who has even less head coaching experience than Gerard Mayo does, is considered a top candidate for a number of positions around the league, having taken that dumpster fire of a team that used to be the Detroit Lions and turning them into one of the best teams in the NFC. And according to reports, Ben Johnson has agreed to speak with Mr. Kraft. Now, I read a few opinion pieces suggesting that Mr. Kraft's entire legacy rests on who he hires to become the next head coach of the Patriots, completely ignoring those 22 divisional championships and 6 Lombardi trophies that he got stacked away in his curio cabinet. No, folks, I'm pretty sure that Mr. Kraft's legacy is going to remain largely intact. The truth is that most teams around the NFL don't usually replace their most successful head coach with guys who are better than the guy they just got rid of. They almost always hire someone who is slightly worse. In other words, Gerard Mayo never stood a chance. Even with a first-round pick, millions under the salary cap, and one of the easiest schedules in the NFL next year, Mayo was doomed from the start. Let's just hope they choose wisely, because that guy might screw it up too. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, some birds head south for the winter, while stubborn old birds like you and me tough it out. You need to go to Rocky's for a 40-pound bag of wild bird food, just $19. Fill your bird feeder and keep the others happy all winter long from your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:10, and the great Tom Petty with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's freaking cold out there. It's 16 degrees, but it feels like 8 because there's 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts going on, and it's going to remain like that until tomorrow. Today, a high of 24. Tomorrow, a high of 22. 16 right now in downtown Springfield.
Before it all gets taken away from us by the U.S. government, we are also streaming live on TikTok. For those of you who want to follow along visually to see what it looks like, all the magic looks like up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the magic.
Yeah, you know what we do when it's magic. So if you want to join us on the TikToks, feel free. That would be great, and we'll all get together with us.
Yeah, support us until, like you said, it's gone on the 19th. It's just going to go away. Whatever will we do?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure someone will pick it up or do something similar.
It's kind of like when you first got married and then you start having kids.
Yeah.
And then you can't remember what you did before you started having kids. What did we do before TikTok?
Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
And before that, it was Facebook. Before that, it was MySpace.
That's like going back to the Edsel. We're going to go back to that?
Yes.
All right.
I think we would if we had the chance.
Hey, are you ready for a round of AITA?
What is that?
Am I the a-hole?
Yes.
Which shouldn't it be AITAH? I don't know why they don't do that.
I think oftentimes that's all one word.
I got you.
It's a compound word, but it's often one word.
All right, number 1. You ready?
I'm ready.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to lie to my best friend's fiance about why I was in his hotel room? So I, 29 female, recently attended a destination wedding for a mutual friend with my best friend Megan, who's 28, and her fiance Liam, 30. These are fake names, by the way. They replaced the names, so
don't you think you'd have to replace the names?
I would think so. Megan and I were sharing a room while Liam had his own suite since they wanted to do the no seeing each other the night before the wedding tradition. After the rehearsal dinner, Megan had way too much to drink, so I helped her back to her room, got her water, put her to bed. I was completely sober and decided to go back downstairs to grab some food from the bar. While there, I ran into Liam, who also wasn't drinking much, and we ended up chatting a bit. He's a genuinely nice guy, and Megan has always told me how grateful she is that we get along. At around midnight, I was about to head back to my room when Liam told me he had forgotten his phone charger and his battery was about to die.
You
see where this is going.
Here. I sure can.
So I figured no harm, and we went up to his suite so I could grab it later. While we were there, Megan somehow woke up, realized I wasn't in the room, called my phone repeatedly, and eventually tracked me down to Liam's room using Find My Friends. Why does anybody let somebody track them?
I don't know. It's nobody's business where I am.
When she showed up and saw me handing him a phone charger, she immediately assumed the worst. She started screaming at me, accusing of betraying her, and told Liam I was, quote, trying to seduce him. Liam defended me and explained everything, but Megan wouldn't calm down. She since demanded that I admit I admit that I had bad intentions or apologize for crossing the line to keep the peace in their relationship. She even threatened to end our friendship if I didn't own up. Liam, on the other hand, has apologized to me repeatedly and says she's just stressed about the wedding, like most brides are. Now, Megan has told all of our mutual friends that I, quote, made a move on Liam, which was completely untrue. Most of them believe me because they know I'd never do something like that. But some of them think I should just apologize to keep the peace. I feel like apologizing would make it seem like I did something wrong when I didn't. Am I the a-hole for refusing to lie?
I can't say you're the a-hole. I think maybe the a-hole might be the bride who's all that jealous and got too drunk on the most important night of her life.
Yeah, Megan should have been watching how many martinis she had.
Yeah, maybe she should have, said no thank you.
Yeah. You know what, at this point...
she's going to get married. She'll be used to saying no for the rest of her life.
At this point, I'm going, no, Megan, you should have slept with him. Make it interesting.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, but that's, the ramifications of that aren't necessarily pleasant either.
But I would think that kind of behavior from a bride, accusing those two, even though they weren't doing anything to her, she's got some serious trust issues going on there. So if she has those trust issues, you might as well go ahead and do it.
Yeah, like the night before your wedding night is not the night to be the most insecure.
No.
You got to wait until you've been married for a while before those insecurities can start creeping back up at you.
Yeah, you should be really sure about what you're about to do with the person you're about to do it with before you get involved.
Right.
Man, these kids don't know nothing these days, do they?
They really don't.
Number 2, am I the a-hole for exposing my sister's affair at her anniversary party because she tried to out my secret first? Again,
it's a race to the finish.
Some of these are made up.
Maybe.
I can't believe that these are all true. I, 26 female, have always been competitive, had a competitive relationship with my older sister, Lila, who's 30. She loves being the golden child, and honestly, I think she thrives on one-upping me in every way possible. Last week, my family hosted a big party for Lila and her husband, Ryan, who's 32, to celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary. During the dinner, Lila started dropping subtle and then not-so-subtle hints about my personal life. Specifically, she alluded to the fact that I've been seeing someone who's married.
Okay.
Yes, it's true. I'm having an affair with my boss. I know, I'm not proud of it. But I've been extremely careful to keep it private, and I told Lila in confidence because I thought I could trust her. Well, apparently not.
So careful that they've decided to write about it on Reddit.
That's the thing. This is why I think some of these are fake, because why would you go on the internet and expose yourself when somebody could probably easily find out where you're coming from? There's those hacker people out there that can find out where your IP address is coming from and all that stuff.
Sure.
So you put 2 and 2 together.
But if you're not looking for it, you may never find it.
When she made her second joke about me being, quote, good at keeping secrets, I saw red. I stood up, grabbed my glass, and said, since we're sharing secrets, I think it's only fair we tell Ryan about the guy you've been sneaking around with for the past year.
Oh, snap.
Man. Dead silence. Lila's face turned pale. Ryan demanded to know what I was talking about, and Lila burst into tears, calling me a liar. But I'm not lying. I know she's been hooking up with her yoga instructor because she told me herself. She tried to flip it on me, screaming that I was just jealous of her perfect marriage. The party ended in chaos. Ryan stormed off. Lila accused me of ruining her life, and now my parents are furious at both of us for airing our dirty laundry in front of everyone. They think I was out of line, but I think Lila started it by trying to humiliate me first. Sister things go on forever, don't they?
Now, what is the return policy of the bridal registry? Will they just accept it without a receipt, or do they get store credit?
I don't know. It's been 5 years, so I don't know.
I don't know. You might be right.
Now neither of us is speaking to each other, and our family is caught in the middle. Am I the a-hole? I think. Yeah. I think there's one of those instances where everyone seems to be kind of the a-hole here.
There's really very few situations where it's just one person.
Yeah.
Who is the a-hole? It's like, there's one a-hole who sparks more a-hole behavior from another a-hole.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you got like twice the number of a-holes all dealing with the same situation.
What?
That's what this sounds like here. You got one, it created another, and then you get a two-headed monster.
Yeah, I'd say Lila for trying to expose her sister's secret in such a passive-aggressive public way.
Right.
Then you got the original poster for retaliating by revealing an even bigger destructive secret. And both of their lack of maturity and willingness to drag their family into their personal drama. These are just comments from people below.
That's just off the top of your head.
No, I'm not that smart. You think I would offer sound advice?
No. I mean, wait, I've never seen any reason to think you would offer any.
See, I would do what I would in my world. I would suggest that you just switch affair partners. She does her boss, and then she does the yoga instructor. I mean you can't.
Were any of these affairs considered to be long-term investments?
Somebody on TikTok is asking, "Do turtles snore?" As if we're boring them to tears.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Are you ready for a better one then?
Yes.
Am I the a-hole for uninviting my roommate's emotional support slut from our friend group vacation?
We should all have one of those.
Everyone should have an emotional support slut.
Yes.
Yeah.
When times are tough.
So I, 26 female, have been planning a group trip to Cancun with my closest friends for months. We rented a gorgeous Airbnb, made detailed itineraries, and everyone was super excited. That is until my roommate, Claire, who's 25, told us she'd be bringing her plus one, a.k.a. her emotional support slut, Chad, who's 29. Now, let me explain. Claire is going through a rough breakup and met Chad on a dating app a couple of weeks ago. She calls him her emotional support slut because, in her words, he's hot, he doesn't ask questions, and he's really good at distracting me. Whatever, that's her business. The issue is that Chad is a lot, to say the least. He came to our apartment the other night shirtless for no reason. He drinks straight from the communal juice carton, talks like he's on a reality TV show, and somehow manages to make everything about himself. He also tried to hook up with my friend Rachel, who's 24, the first time he met her, even though he knew she was in a relationship. When Claire announced she was bringing Chad on the trip, I immediately said it wasn't happening. This isn't some free-for-all trip where anyone can just invite random people, especially ones who create drama. Claire argued that Chad helps her cope, and she needs him there to enjoy the vacation. I told her I wasn't going. She's obviously banging this dude.
Obviously.
Yeah. I told her I wasn't going to let some guy we barely know come on the trip and ruin the vibe for everyone. That means two things.
Right.
Yeah. Claire called me a bad friend and said I'm being insensitive to her healing process. Now she's threatening not to come at all if Chad isn't invited. Well, she won't be if Chad doesn't go.
Yeah, right.
Some of our friends think I should just let her bring him so she doesn't feel left out, but others agree that Chad is a walking disaster waiting to happen. Claire says I'm jealous of her support system and trying to gatekeep her healing. So, am I the a-hole for uninviting Chad, a.k.a. her emotional support slut?
You know, I don't really know here, because right now it sounds like the big a-hole may be Chad.
Yeah, I think Chad, walking around shirtless, swinging his dong around the apartment.
You're drinking right out of the juice box.
See, that would just, whether he's an emotional support slut or not, drinking out of the communal juice in the apartment is a big no-no.
Yeah. It's like you're going to spending the night at somebody's house and then drinking right from their milk jug.
That's gross.
Yeah,
That's so
you know what I mean?
gross.
I would do it if it were my milk jug, if nobody else were using it. But if other people are using it, I don't want to put my mouth all around it.
Have you ever had an emotional support slut in your life?
No, actually, no. No such luck.
I could use one.
Be careful what you ask for.
Where are all these emotional support sluts? Where does a young man find an emotional support slut out there?
Well, she found them on an online site. Maybe that's where you need to go.
Well, perhaps. I don't know. Do you go to like Emotional Support Sluts R Us? Is there a website for those?
I honestly don't know.
Is it like one of those Russian bride things? Order your emotional support slut today and receive free advice with every purchase.
I'm gonna have to take one on a test drive before I commit. I have to kick a few tires to see if that's the one I want.
I think that's how that works. You try them all out before you pick the emotional support slut that works for you. And there you go. That's another round of Am I the A-hole?
It's 7:23 on Rock 102. It's 7:25 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
Hey, this week on Baxi's Musical Podcast, my guest is Cyril Jordan from the band The Flamin' Groovies. This is a band that's been out since 1965 out of San Francisco. Instrumental in garage rock, power pop, psychedelia, proto-punk. They've been doing stuff forever. It's an amazing story, and Cyril is a great storyteller. And you can listen to it now on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, rock102.com, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, and on the Rock 102 app. It's all brought to you by Metro, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Chicopee, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
If you feel so inclined, we are doing a TikTok live right now. And again, that'll be banned on January 19th because it seems like they've run out of options. So if you want to, let's go out with a bang. Keep liking this video and subscribing. You can go find Nagle 102 on TikTok and join us this morning.
And it's not that hard to do. We got some people who are sticking around.
I got a survey.
No, hold on a second.
You want a survey?
Yes.
Survey set. Do you go through a mental checklist before walking out the door to make sure you don't forget anything?
Yeah, but I don't usually walk out the door with too much.
Sometimes I have this problem where I have to go back in like several times to the house to make sure even though I didn't use the stove, I got to make sure it's not on.
Is this one of those obsessive-compulsive type of things?
I think it might be. I think it might be one of those things.
Are you the kind of guy that has to have everything sorted symmetrically and by height?
Yeah, you got to make sure that I didn't leave any grams of Coke on the countertop.
Oh, yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
I'm talking Coca-Cola.
Of course.
I don't want to leave that anywhere. And I just feel like I have to go back in. Well, according to a survey, nearly half of Americans carry backup underwear with them. Do you carry backup underwear with you?
I have one pair, and if there's a problem, I'll just throw them away.
And the reasons why include in case they have an accident, because they plan to change clothes during the day, like after going to the gym, or because they're clumsy and might spill something on themselves. Well, in that case, wouldn't you just carry an extra set of clothes with you?
I have no extra clothes here in the office.
I'm like one of those people that I spill stuff on my clothes every day. It's kind of like a badge of honor.
I don't have a shirt that doesn't have some sort of stain on it.
So while I'm sitting there at night, I can look down and see stains and remember what I had earlier in the day. Kind of like I said, like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
I remember eating that sloppy chicken sandwich this morning.
Is that what's on your shirt now?
No, this is a fresh shirt. There's nothing on the shirt.
That's yesterday's chicken.
Yeah, no, it's yesterday. Yeah, but I got nothing on my shirt now. This is actually a brand new shirt I got from Costco.
Wow.
Yeah, $9.99.
Well, you can't beat that.
No, you can't. 70% of people who carry spare underwear say they have had it come in handy at least once, and this is more common among the younger generation. 60% of Gen Zers and 57% of millennials say they have in case of emergency underwear. What's going on with the millennials?
It makes sense because, especially as you age, when you have less control over things, and sometimes, your body's thinking is separately from your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes some sense. And, I suppose that maybe I'll bring in a change of clothes is not the worst thing, but all I really have that I still use are saline in case my contacts get all bugged out.
Yeah.
A toothbrush and a toothpaste. And then that's it. And a bunch of paperwork I never really threw away.
I'm very unprepared. I don't carry anything with me.
If I'm going out to like an appearance immediately following the show, I'll brush my teeth. Otherwise, I want to be walking around with coffee breath all day.
You were the one that introduced me to. I don't even think they make those anymore. Those Listerine strips.
Yeah, they make them.
They still make them?
Sure, we do.
Yeah, I haven't seen you use them in a while. Yeah, I think you used other mints. I've seen you use.
No, I still have some at home.
You don't use them a lot though.
I don't bring it to work every day.
That's kind of like dropping LSD. It's like the dropping LSD of the mouthwash. You put that thing on your tongue and you just let it dissolve in there.
Yeah, most people that are tuning out with psychedelics have terrible breath, and they don't care.
One more thing: people who carry backup underwear are more likely to replace their undergarments sooner. 82% of them say you should replace your underwear after 2 years. Among the people who don't carry spares, 83% said they're keeping their underwear for at least 3 years.
I got some older pair that I haven't thrown away yet.
The ones that almost like disintegrate and still have the rubber band around the top.
They barely have the rubber band on the top.
Yeah. Do you wear tighty whities?
No.
I do the boxer briefs.
That's what I do.
A little extra support, but still feels like I'm letting it all hang out.
Still plenty of room for everything to move.
Yeah. I wouldn't keep any of these things in my car.
No, there's no need for that.
There's no need for it?
Well, I mean, I don't have enough accidents to justify putting extra laundry in my car or in my desk at work.
But you also live close to home. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're ever very far from your home.
No, it's like 6 miles.
Yeah, but you should, if you like go out and visit your parents, you probably want to get an extra pair of underwear.
Well, if I'm going to spend the night, maybe definitely bring extra pairs.
Yeah, I don't bring any. I don't bring anything with me. I'm living life on the edge.
And then one day a bad thing's going to happen.
Yeah, you just turn the car mat upside down and you sit on it until you get home. Doesn't everybody do that?
That hadn't occurred to me, but you might be right about that. It's 7:31. News is next on Rock 102.
Here's your Western...
7:33 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
You know what? This is what you're missing out on the live videos.
I don't think I've ever heard that story.
I don't think I would probably... I wouldn't share that in public.
No.
Only on the internet with 28 people watching.
In a video that could very easily be shared later on.
Yeah.
In a reel.
Let's see. There's not much local stuff going on, but the Billerica Police Department. Why don't we go all the way?
Billerica?
Yeah, why not? Right?
Okay.
I don't know. I just miss Dave Coombs so much. I feel like we should do more stories that have nothing to do with around here.
Locally, a story out of Andover.
Locally, out of Lowell. Did you know there's a town called Ticklebelly Hill, Massachusetts?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, but I've heard of that. It was actually when I was looking up for the video I was doing the other day about Mianus, Connecticut.
Yeah,
I was Googling like other funny town names, and there's Ticklebelly Hill, Massachusetts. I didn't see where it was though.
Remember the day we got a map of Massachusetts?
Yeah,
a map of Western Massachusetts.
Yeah,
and the boss in order to have a certain somebody understand the parameters of what we're really talking about, actually drew a circle around the entire listening area.
Yeah.
And it excluded great cities like Pittsfield and Worcester and everything outside of the 3-county area.
Yeah, like don't do these.
Yeah, no one cares about this stuff.
But
they only care about this stuff.
But he didn't listen. And
No.
he still did those stories, and you know what? I like to bring the spirits back of Rock 102 Ghost Past and do stories that have nothing to do with this geographical area.
Locally,
yeah. The Billerica Police Department has arrested 3 individuals in connection with an ongoing mailbox theft investigation. On Sunday, Billerica officers were conducting surveillance on Boston Road. Oh, maybe that's the local part. The Boston Road part.
Gotcha.
It's the same Boston Road that goes all the way out there.
I don't know if that's true.
Due to an increase of mailbox thefts in the area, Police Chief Roy Frost said that around 10:45 p.m., a white Lexus drove into the lot of 460 Boston Road, and 2 individuals wearing ski masks exited the vehicle. Detectives saw the suspects approach multiple mailboxes on the street, exited their cruiser to approach them, and which made the suspects run away. The officers brought them into custody and were identified as 16 and 17-year-old boys, both from Lowell. The driver of the Lexus, a Lexus?
That's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, 18-year-old Braden Moran of Lowell was taken into custody. The three suspects were arrested when detectives found stolen checks and a USPS Arrow key, which is a universal key that can be used to access collection boxes and apartment panels. These arrests have been made at a time where mailbox theft has been a recurring issue in the area, in addition to the check washing, a crime where checks are stolen and rewritten to a different name to be cashed. They were both charged with all kinds of receiving stolen property, conspiracy, yada, 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 and broken taillight. They're fighting that one, though.
I mean, most of what you're going to find in my mailbox is junk mail and bills.
Yeah, I know.
That's it. I mean, they can have it. But on the other hand, what kind of person who has a Lexus has got to steal stuff out of other people's mailboxes? It's kind of a high-end vehicle to be a scofflaw.
Maybe that's how they got the Lexus.
Maybe
He stole it out of their spot.
I suppose.
Westfield is celebrating the grand opening of a brand new elementary school on Monday as students and staff officially moved into the newly built bougie Westfield River Elementary School. It's still got that new elementary school smell to it.
I love a new school smell.
Westfield Public School Superintendent Stefan Saprowski was all smiles and shared how thrilled the district is about the beautiful new facility, which he said is sure to make a positive impact on students. The school is the first new school building in the district has seen since 1999, and the excitement could be felt in the air as Yeah, I'm sure the kids are excited to go back to school.
All right, but it's a new school. That's kind of exciting. A little bit.
It's huge. There's room for movement and dance, and all of the band students can fit in there all at once and play together. I'm so excited to get everybody in there today, said music, chorus, and band director Emily Baker.
So much room for activities.
Huh?
So much room for activities.
Yeah, there's a lot of room in there.
For activities.
Assistant Principal Chris Manfredi said this has been a long time coming, but we've been starting these plans for a new building since 2007, I believe. So for the students to have a new building, it's just awesome. I don't even know what that quote meant.
I'm sure he did. Sure he knew what it meant.
It was
just misquoted.
The dictator.
Right.
And I don't mean like a person in power. I mean the person dictating what he said. We'll just write these words down. I think it's sort of what he said. Construction started in April 2023, and now just under 2 years later, the new building will replace both Franklin Avenue and Abner Gibbs Elementary School. What happens when you close a school? We had that guy in Agawam who named the building after himself, William Sapelli.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to lose out eventually on a name. What happened to Abner Gibbs?
I don't know. I don't know what Abner Gibbs has done to.
Well, he did
to be named.
He did something in order to be named for a school after him, and then all of a sudden, people just forget about you, and they're like, "Yeah, Abner Gibbs sucks. We're closing that school, and we're making a new one."
Maybe someone who's still got a hankering for Mr. Gibbs say, "Let's name a bridge after him. Let's rename a park."
I don't think they're doing that.
I don't think a lot of places do that. I mean, it's like when they change the name of a street.
Yeah.
By honoring somebody. Like at some point, someone's going to make a Richie Neal Way or Dom Sarno Avenue, and what about the guy who's originally named they named that street after?
What was Bruce Landon Way before it was Bruce Landon Way down in downtown Springfield?
Court Street.
Okay. You don't think the court is offended by the fact that they're not named after the street anymore?
I don't think they care. What happens when the courthouse is leveled and rebuilt?
And then sometimes buildings bring shame to names.
Well, that's true.
Like look at the Roderick Island. I mean, that guy was probably a great judge, and then now
it makes everybody sick.
He's being besmirched by the fact that this building is falling apart. That's kind of a slap in the face, actually.
It's not Mr. Judge Ireland's. Was he a judge?
Roderick Ireland.
It's not Roderick Ireland's fault that the building was put on. There's a horrible mold issue inside that building.
But that's what I mean. I mean, you've now besmirched the name because you named a building that's causing people to get sick after somebody. Oh yeah, we're going to name it after this guy. I wonder if somebody did that knowing.
It's
the one guy that didn't like Roderick Ireland.
You're right. I mean, it's a shame to see his reputation be damaged in any way, and that's why I think maybe if they build another one, then maybe it should be the Roderick Ireland Courthouse 2.
Everyone has heard about someone trying to hide drugs or contraband up their backside, right?
Yeah.
But instead of a dark little crevice, this guy treated his hiding place like a 3-car garage. A 43-year-old inmate in Georgia named Kenneth Gibbs was caught trying to smuggle a lot of junk in his trunk, and it's quite a laundry list.
What's he going to do with all that junk in his trunk?
Well, he had 2 vape canisters, 4 syringes, 1 vape cartridge, 3 batteries, 1 cigarette lighter, and 0.64 grams of marijuana inside of him. That's a lot.
It's nature's pocket.
Kenneth is facing multiple charges and could be looking at more time. He was initially locked up for theft, possession of meth, and violating parole. That's not something you can just ease up there. You gotta do a little stretching.
There are some people that I believe work on it to accommodate a larger scale.
Well, how do you practice to get that? I mean,
do I need to map it out for you how it's done, how to practice?
Do you get one of those back massagers they have at Costco every year, where it's like the little head on it, and you just
one that looks like a hammer?
Yeah,
yeah, jackhammer. Maybe.
I mean, you can't just start shoving things up there.
You have to be kind of trained into. You have to work your way up to that ability.
Yeah, that takes mental and physical.
Yes,
feats.
Agreed
to get that stuff up there.
Right.
But can you imagine being the recipient of any one of those items? Here's your weed I smuggled in for you. Well, this smells like crap.
They're usually heavily wrapped so that there's no contamination issues.
But do you unwrap it before you give it to the gift recipient?
I don't
get the initial layer off the top.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess for me, if I was distributing these things, say like around the holidays, and someone started opening something up, I'd say, no. First, read the card first.
Now we just got a live restricted on our TikTok because I mentioned the fact that somebody could be shoving those things.
That's too bad.
Up the no-go hole.
That's too bad. So now people can't join?
Yeah. When he gets to prison and he kind of just it's like Christmas Day. It's a new holiday in jail. It's Stinkhole de Mayo. Everybody gather around for Stinkhole de Mayo. Fred's got some stuff he'd like to give out to all the boys and girls here at the jail. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be windy and cold with wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour. That'll continue all the way through to tomorrow, a high of 24. It is 16 right now, which feels like 5 in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Aw, yeah.
To Springfield's Classic Rock, it's 7:50. And Blue Oyster Cult with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 24. Tomorrow, same with a high of 22. But the wind advisory, wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour, is going to feel a lot colder than that. It's 16, but feels like 5 in downtown Springfield.
Join Steve and the road crew this Saturday from noon to 2 at Camping World in West Hatfield. The New Year's RV showcases are here. Head to Camping World in West Hatfield for fun, food, and special New Year pricing on the best selection of new and used RVs starting as low as $92 per month. Plus, you can enter to win a brand new RV. Stop by the Rock 102 table. Say hi to Steve for your chance to win a fabulous prize. That's Saturday noon to 2 with Steve and the road crew at Camping World in West Hatfield, 188 West Street, Route 5 in West Hatfield from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
That'll be fun. That's the folks that donate the RV for us every year for the Mayflower Marathon.
That's where I got my RV.
Right. Well,
and I love it.
Yeah. I really want to get one.
Dude, I got to tell you, it is maybe the most cost-effective way of having a vacation home.
But I want one you can drive.
Yes, that gets a little bit more pricey. I got one that needs to be towed, but it sits on that campground all year long. And as soon as May rolls around, we're back up there all the time.
But I don't need a huge one. You know what I mean? There's one that sleeps 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think what I paid for ours was less than the cost of a used car.
Oh, well, there you go.
So,
See?
yeah, and at the time, we got a great deal at the right time. It was used. It's still in great shape.
Well, that's not saying much. I mean, used cars are pretty pricey right now.
Yeah, I know. But at the time, was like around right in the middle of COVID. In the early part of COVID, I should say. This will be our 5th year.
Yeah, if you didn't get it in the early part of COVID, then the price is jacked up.
For new ones, yeah, they can get kind of pricey, but for the used ones, I'll tell you what, it's a very cost effective way of doing it.
I don't know why we don't have anybody in here anymore. I haven't been offered the guest from the Consumer Electronics Association. Remember they used to come in every year? That guy, Jim, unfortunately he passed away.
Yeah.
But he used to come in every year and show us all the cool little gadgets and stuff.
Yeah.
I wish we could do that again, but apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to get to taking it. We'll have to organize ourselves a little better.
But the big Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas starts today, and as always, it's got a lot of cool new products, plus some weird ones. Here's some of the gadgets unveiled so far. A robot vacuum that picks up dirty socks. It's like a Roomba, but with an arm on top that picks up stuff that you tossed on the floor. I kind of like that idea.
My sock Roomba would be very busy.
Yeah. A company called Robo-Rock made it. It's just a prototype, so no word on the pricing, but probably north of $1,000. See, that's not worth it.
Yeah, no.
It can pick up small items that weigh less than 11 ounces. You know what? The socks can stay on the floor, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, for that kind of price.
Electric rollerblades.
I don't need that.
Here's something about me. I do not know how to roller skate. Nor do I know how to rollerblade or ice skate.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I never mastered it. Not for a lack of trying. I just could never get the hang of it.
Anytime I've taken the kids over to like Interskate and I've tried to skate with them, I had to use a little walker.
I usually held on for dear life at the wall.
Yeah,
it was the only way I could go and survive.
See, you never held a hand with a girl roller skating through a roller rink, have you?
Not without dragging her down to the ice like I did.
An electric salt spoon. It's been in the works for a while and went on sale in Japan last year. A weak current of electricity hits your tongue and makes the stuff taste saltier than it really is. They're $125 in Japan. You can't get them in the U.S. yet. So why don't you just take a 9-volt battery for $5 and put it on your tongue and get the same effect?
Because that's probably not a healthy thing to do.
Well, I mean, you're using a spoon with electricity in it to
yeah, I'm not convinced that's a great idea either.
Make things salty, make things taste saltier.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that?
Why don't you just add salt?
Probably because it keeps your sodium and your blood pressure down.
Please.
A table with working legs. It's called the Mimo, and it walks around. Too creepy.
That's creepy.
The prototype looks like a small side table with a Pixar lamp on top. The idea is it's an AI robot you can talk to, but it also looks like furniture. You know, when the AI first came out, we were all proud, like, oh, man, this thing is going to solve medical problems, like maybe even curing cancer. But nope, we're going to have a table that walks itself across the room.
The good use of that technology.
A stringless guitar. It's like an adult version of those push-button guitars for little kids. For $500, you can feel like you're playing guitar without actually playing guitar.
How about spending $500 on a real guitar?
Just pick up a broomstick. Pretend like you're playing the guitar.
Maybe like a pickleball paddle.
And the last one, a tiny robot that blows on your drink to cool it down. I wouldn't be using that for drinks. It's called the Foo-Foo. It looks like a cat. Ooh, even better.
Oh, even better.
And hangs on the side of your coffee mug. It also works on soup. I wonder if you can hang it on your belt loop.
You probably could.
They'll go on sale in Japan later this year for around $25. See, that's a value. That's something you can get out of it. You know, nobody ever uses... I was talking about those massagers earlier.
Yeah.
Nobody uses that to actually massage their muscles.
Whose soup stays that hot?
Yeah, right. How hot is your soup that you need somebody else to do it for you? Now...
I've spent $300 on something to cool down my soup.
Now, knowing physics, You could use that for another play. Sometimes things are made for something else, but for the intended use of something. But
right.
You can use it for other things.
And that requires you to be a little creative.
Yeah.
It's 7:57 on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, you know me. I'm not one to make a quick rush to judgment. I like to take a more cautious approach to wielding my unfair conclusions and accusations. However, there are times when you look at a situation and you say, okay, let me get this straight. This may be one of those times. On Friday, a lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles against former Fox Sports host Skip Bayless. The lawsuit, which was filed by former Fox Sports hairstylist, claims that Bayless made repeated unwanted sexual advances towards her. This includes one situation that is alleged to have occurred 4 years ago when Skip is said to have offered the woman $1.5 million for sex. The financial offer allegedly came after she disclosed a cancer scare in 2021. So, let me get this straight. After you make the painful disclosure to Skip Bayless that you might have cancer, he offered to ease your suffering by having sex with you? If I'd had cancer, that'd be the last thing I'd be looking for. Secondly, what sort of low-life scumbag has to pay $1.5 million for sex with anybody? I've been having sex for nearly my entire adult life virtually for free. That's not to say it doesn't come with a cost, but at least I'm not paying cash for it. Again, no judgments here, although yesterday Stephen A. Smith said on ESPN that the Skip Bayless that he knows has a hard time giving up $15, never mind $1.5 million for sex. He then went on to say he's one of the cheapest people I know. Well, Steve, that may be true, but typically I find myself leaning towards the victim in these cases, so maybe his sixth sense of sexual entitlement requires him to pinch a few pennies. So when he's swooping down and preying on his victims, like the one that just disclosed a delicate health-related vulnerability, he'll be well prepared with financial incentives. All of which I can assume are probably a gross violation of the law and probably a gross violation of company policy as well. So good luck fighting that one, Skip, because I'm sure it's going to cost you a whole lot more than $1.5 million to defend yourself, not to get screwed in court. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Are your furnace filters clean? It's a good question, but you probably don't even know. That's why you're going to go to Rocky's for pleated furnace filters. Buy one, get one free. Don't make your furnace work any harder than it has to. Replace those filters. 2 for 1 at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:10 and Skinnerd with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Going to be cold today. Mix of sun and clouds with a high of 24, but wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour, and that could make it feel a lot colder than it is. Matter of fact, it's 17, but feels like 5 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hey, later this week, I'm not sure when exactly we're going to get around to it, but Lindsay Zarniak, former Emmy Award-winning sportscaster, worked for ESPN a long time ago. She's part of a brand new documentary that we'll be talking to her about called Aaron Hernandez and the Untold Murder in Bristol. And it's going to be on Investigation Discovery. I think tomorrow night is its debut. And I saw most of the first episode the other day. Really interesting new take on Aaron Hernandez, and we'll get to the bottom of that maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. A couple of things, though, about the Patriots. You see the Robert Kraft press conference yesterday?
Yeah.
This is all on me. I mean...
Well, it is.
But why would you fire the guy? Because you got one season. You got one season of the guy. How do you build a team up without, having at least multiple seasons under your... If you did 2 seasons, I could say, okay, fine, you're out the door. You didn't do anything for us.
There's multiple ways of looking at it. One, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to see a guy go after one season when, he's looking at, a great draft pick, an easy schedule, and a lot of money under the salary cap, and you're just going to get rid of him. And sometimes I wonder whether a coach coaches based on what he has to work with, or if he's just being a bad coach because certain plays aren't being called that most fans would say, hey, why didn't you call that? On the other hand, you look at the decisions that were made and you start to question, does this guy really have what it takes to be a head coach? Or is it a matter of inexperience? And so I kind of see it both ways, but I would have given the guy probably a little bit more time.
Because I feel that, when they had the dynasty going with Tom Brady and everything like that, do you think Bill Belichick was the one that had the smarts to that? Or was it more of the camaraderie that Tom Brady brought to the team?
I don't think you can identify one or the other. I think it was a perfect storm of a situation that created all of it.
I think it was Tom Brady and his, obviously he is the greatest quarterback of all time. I would say that.
Okay.
Is that arguable? Or who are you going to go with?
Well, I was going to go with
Brett Favre.
No, Tony Eason from from Steve Grogan, of course.
but just because you have good players doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win any games. Yeah, and we've seen that time and time again with any team, like even in baseball, whether it be a Red Sox payroll or a Yankees payroll. I mean, look how much money the Yankees spend on talent and still haven't been able to win a World Series since, 2009?
Right. But baseball's a different kind of situation, too. Baseball is, primarily a game of individual statistics that lead up to a team winning or losing. In football, there's so many things going on the field all at once, both offensively and defensively, that it's not just one guy that can turn things around. Say what you want about Tom Brady. I mean, yes, he was an outstanding quarterback, but Tom Brady had to have things around him in order to make Tom Brady great. Great offensive line, great receivers, great other position players that had to be doing their job to make sure Tom Brady could succeed.
Well, who was the coach of the Bucs when he went down there? Oh, did you spill that all?
No, I didn't.
It's a new top.
My new top.
Who was the coach of the Bucs when he went?
Bruce Arians.
Okay, how well was he? How good was he?
He was a good coach.
But good enough, but not good enough to win a championship until they had a guy who came in and started rallying everybody up going, hey.
But the reason why he went to Tampa, I'm talking about Tom Brady, is there were players there that he knew would make that an easy choice for him.
Yeah.
He could have gone to any team. That's why he didn't go to the Chicago Bears. That's why he didn't go to the Carolina or Jacksonville. He didn't go to those teams. He went to a team that was kind of built to succeed and needed one more piece to the puzzle.
But is that piece the greatest quarterback of all time, or is that piece the greatest quarterback of all time who knows how to bring camaraderie and Again,
it all depends. I mean, he's not the only quarterback that had the ability to do that, to motivate the people around him. But I mean, he was a special player. There's no question about it. But I don't think you can point to just one person to say he's the reason why.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of reasons why.
I mean, and I kind of take issue with I know the baseball thing that you say it's like an individual statistics type of game,
right?
But it's also a team game, and I think that in order to win games, you have to have chemistry with the other players that you're playing with. Just because you have an entire roster full of the greatest players on earth.
Oh yeah, there's no guarantees.
Yeah. You're never. You don't. I mean, I've done it in triple play baseball on EA Sports, where you put like Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and all those players on one team, and they still can't win a championship.
Yeah, I know.
But it's about the camaraderie. The last time the Yankees won a World Series was 2009. You remember what they were shoving pies in each other's faces anytime somebody hit a home run.
See, to me that's always been the key to a successful team. Pie fights. You bring pie fights or. Hey, what's in your shirt? And you grab them by the nose, or those kinds of things. Those great gag. Hey, pull my finger. But that's a great thing to do in a clubhouse.
But as dumb as it may seem on the outset, that for them brought enough camaraderie and chemistry and learning how to work with the other player to say, hey, we can win a game like this.
See, those are the kinds of intangibles that separate great teams from mediocre teams. There's a lot of. Look, there's a big difference between the 2014 the 2004 Red Sox, and the Red Sox you saw last year, where everyone was kind of like miserable and not doing that great.
I think a more believable conspiracy, when you talk about football conspiracies, maybe the Taylor Swift thing might be a little far-fetched, like we're just doing this in order to, drum up more interest in the NFL from males and females as well. I think the more tangible conspiracy would be we're running this team into the ground for tax write-offs. Because if you have a loss in a season, as financial wise, you can justify that going, yeah, we didn't do that great this year, but here's all the money we didn't bring in.
There are teams that do operate that way. I mean, there really are, and not just in the NFL, but other teams are in the NBA and Major League Baseball. But I don't get the sense that that's what Robert Kraft is all about. I
think it is. I think there's some nefarious actions going on there.
I don't get the sense that he is at the same level, say, like who's the guy? Donald Sterling, the guy that.
I remember him.
That guy. Yeah. It was a dirtbag, and it was a terrible place to be a part of, and people kind of felt like he didn't care whether it succeeded or not. He was going to make his money one way or another. I don't think that Robert Kraft is quite that way. I think Robert Kraft has got the kind of ego where he sees himself as a champion and wants to do whatever he can to make sure that championships continue. It's unrealistic to have 20 years go by like the Patriots had. I mean, you are probably never going to see that again for years and years.
And honestly, I think it has nothing to do with Tom Brady. I think rub and tug gate was the thing that made the team jump the shark.
He's never been the same.
No. Listen, your little secret has been ousted. You can never go back to one of those massage parlors ever again. Ever.
You have to have the massage parlor come to you.
Yeah. What fun is that? That's the whole... That was the whole enchantment of it, going to like one of these dirty places where somebody's gonna do that to you at the end of the massage. I think he's gone downhill ever since that incident happened, and I think Robert Kraft just keeps continuing making bad decision after bad decision because he didn't get satisfied that one time at a rub and tug place in South Florida.
I'm sure that couldn't have been the first bad decision he made, and it all fell apart.
Do you see what just happened here?
Oh, I see.
You and I had a conversation about sports, and it was actually.
It was acceptable.
Yeah, tangible and acceptable.
Moderately acceptable.
Yeah, success.
It's 8:20 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
3 words that
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:26, and Stevie Ray Vaughan with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown should have the full forecast for you.
Let's see. We're going to have Zolak on this Thursday. It's also a Thunderbird Thursday. Of course, there's still another show between today and tomorrow, or today and when that happens. But there's stuff going on this week, so make sure you're listening, and you can always listen later on the podcast, which is available on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and on rock102.com, and the app, and on YouTube. It's the Bax and Nagle daily podcast. It's Bax and Nagle on demand on Rock 102.
Yeah, I wonder down in Enfield if that Raising Cane's has still got a big giant line outside of it.
Yeah, it does.
It does? Still?
Not to the street, but I've always seen like an enormous amount of people waiting in line for chicken strips.
And I told you when I had gone out to Vegas, I walked right in and sat right down.
Let your mind go long?
And Daddy, I let my mind go long. But there was no wait because, there's no mystery about it there.
Yeah.
It's been there probably for years. And, obviously one comes to here and everyone's like, oh, I got to go try these chicken fingers. They're not that great. I mean, it's like, okay, it's good chicken, but it's not like something I'd be waiting 45 minutes in line for. Well, a mysterious foul-smelling odor has led to a Raising Cane's restaurant in Boston to temporarily close after it failed 2 health inspections from the city. The smell was so bad that the city first temporarily shuttered the restaurant on Commonwealth Avenue on December 17th when it failed its first health inspection, according to a spokesperson for the Inspectional Services Department. The inspection was prompted by a complaint about the restaurant's odor. The city then conducted another inspection of the restaurant on December 30th, which it then failed again in a follow-up report. A strong smell was coming from the dining room of the restaurant from an unknown location. The initial report said the odor had been there for weeks, even after the received services from plumbers and HVAC companies. Inspectors said that the restaurant would have to clean the dining room area to remove the odor. In a statement to WBZ, Raising Cane said the restaurant is operating out of a building that was built back in 1916. The building needs routine maintenance, and the restaurant is working with the city to address the concerns. It expects to reopen between January 10th and January 12th. What could the odor possibly be? And they don't even say like what it smells like.
It's not like mold or mildew or sewage or anything like that.
Yeah, I find it kind of weird that nobody has like, oh, it smells like a rotting. Let's say there was a rodent in the ceiling or something like that, a rotting rodent.
Yeah,
which they didn't get a chance to cut up for the chicken fingers that day.
And what kind of dipping sauce did you have for that?
I don't know. I was actually talking to one of the new guys upstairs, one of our sales guy, yesterday. We were talking about Chinese restaurants, and like I was telling him about that guy that we read about, who was a Chinese man who was telling you how to judge Chinese restaurants, and always pick, if you go on Yelp, always pick the one with 2 or 3 stars, because Americans have this over expectation of what service and customer service would be.
Right.
Whereas as the Chinese people, they're like, no, we're focused on the quality of the food, not the atmosphere that you're eating it in.
Right.
So you always pick a Chinese restaurant with 2 and 3 stars because those are the best places. The ones that try to overplease Americans usually aren't that good in taste.
Right, like the ones that look too nice inside.
Yeah. And then he tells me about some restaurant he was at years ago where the guy, he sees the cook come out of the kitchen and there's a mouse on the ground, and the guy just goes, "Stop!" on the ground and kills them. Like he wasn't even trying to hide it. He was just trying to do it. And I said, yes, and that became your sweet and sour chicken afterwards.
It's 8:31 at Rock 102.
Here's your Western map.
8:33 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Aquapump, an expert in all water supply systems from the well to the pump and into the house. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Traffic alert. Road hug. The Hamden Fire and Police Departments have been sent to a fire on Wilbraham Road this morning. The Hamden Police Department states that Wilbraham Road is closed near Raymond Drive due to a large car fire. There's no word on what caused the fire, if there were any injuries, or when the road will reopen. 22 News has a crew on the way that will probably not provide you with any other information.
Well, I would prefer that it all gets solved and reopened by the time I go home today.
You have to go the other way around then. You have to go all the way down Stony Hill and all the way out through the other side of Hamden.
Inconvenient.
To get there. I think you're going to be fine.
Well, couldn't I just take Porter Road to Sewell to Wilbraham Road, and bang a right? There I am.
Yeah, or you could just take. I don't know the roads over there anymore. I used to live on Sewell Road.
On Sewell?
On Sewell.
What was the exact address?
I can't say that.
What did the house look like?
I can't say that either.
What was the cross street to the nearest intersection?
Can't say that either.
Because you don't remember?
No,
or you're trying to protect the identity of someone. Someone could be living in an historical home and they have no idea. This is the house that Steve Nagle went to high school in.
Those people are very well aware of that. Did I ever tell you that story about I was at somebody's birthday party.
Yeah.
Over at Sophia's restaurant. This is going back about 5 or 6 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I hear these people talking next to me. It was very weird. I hear these people talking next to me, telling me they had just bought a house on Sewell Road, and
right.
They love it and all this other stuff. And I said, oh, I used to live on Sewell Road. And I said, whereabouts? And she gives me the number, and I'm like, that's my house. That was my house.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, it's weird how small the world can be. And then. They didn't say if they had to, redo that room with all the stalactites on the ceiling.
Yeah, I've owned 3 homes in my life. The first home, I don't really know who lives there anymore.
Yeah.
The second home, I know everybody that lives there. The third home is the one I own now, and I'm very happy with it. And now it's going to be difficult to get home because of some sort of terrible disaster up on Wilbraham Road.
Well, I'm sure you'll make it there at some point.
I hope so.
Holyoke's new police chief, Brian Keenan, will be sworn in today. The ceremony will be held in the ballroom of Holyoke City Hall on Tuesday at 11 a.m., and it's open to the public. Keenan served in the Springfield Police Department for nearly 3 decades, including 8 years as captain. Wasn't Captain Keenan in The Departed? Wasn't that the character?
Oh, boy.
It was
something like that.
What's his name? The Sheen guy. Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen.
Was Captain Keenan, I believe. Former Holyoke Police Chief David Pratt retired back in July. Keenan says he's now ready to take on some of Holyoke's biggest challenges, which include the city's drug problem, prostitution, as well as gun and domestic violence. These are big challenges, multiple challenges. However, it's nothing that we haven't dealt with before. Holyoke Mayor Josh Garcia, State Senator John Bielis, and Hampden County DA Anthony Gallooni will speak today at the ceremony.
Martin Sheen played Keenan, but it was Keenan with a Q.
That doesn't make any sense.
Could have been Queenan.
Queenan.
Yeah, but I think he pronounced it Keenan, didn't he?
I think so.
All right, well, there we go. I've solved the problem.
Well, that's kind of cool. You're like a cop. You're named after a cop in a movie.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like Clouseau.
You're both captains. At
yeah,
one point
right.
In your life. Yeah. A man was charged with indecent exposure for exposing himself at a pharmacy in Southington.
Is that wrong?
Should I have not done that? Had I had known. Police identified the suspect as 37-year-old Jose Valdivia of
Valdivius, if you ask me.
Yeah, Valdivia. Then they said they responded to the Walgreens on Main Street on New Year's Eve around 9 p.m. Listen, this is behavior that is worthy of a CVS, but a Walgreens, you, sir, are disgusting.
CVS is no more prepared for someone whipping it out than in any other pharmacy around America.
He's got the C, the V, and the S.
Yeah, well, I think everyone see his VS all over the place.
Right. They responded to the Walgreens on Main Street around New Year's Eve around 9 p.m. A report stated that a man was exposing himself in a sexual manner towards females within the store. Descriptions were provided for both the male suspect as well as the vehicle he was seen entering as he was leaving the store parking lot, said Captain James Armack of the Southington Police. Investigating officers said they obtained statements from multiple female victims at Walgreens and secured video surveillance from the business. Officers canvassed the area and located the vehicle in question approximately 1 mile from the stores. A traffic stop of the vehicle was made, and the operator of the vehicle was identified as Valdivia. He was taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of indecent exposure and disorderly conduct. He posted $25,000 bond and was scheduled to appear in New Britain Superior Court on January 14th.
I don't know if it's a maturity thing or just a stage of life situation, but I no longer feel compelled to expose myself in any retail establishment.
No, not after that time at the Ball Greens.
Nope, didn't do it there. Didn't do it at when Cock of the Walk was open in Longmeadow. And wasn't compelled to do it there.
You never exposed yourself at the Cock of the Walk?
No, I never did. Never even thought about it. Never even crossed my mind.
I don't remember that. That was a real restaurant?
It was like a gift shop and a high-end one.
Cock of the Walk?
Yes, that's right. Right there in the Longmeadow shops.
Walk, W-A-L-K?
That's correct.
Oh, it made it sound like it was some kind of like Asian restaurant. Like
no. Why would you put that in a walk?
Well, they're like little smoky sausages. But the Asian version.
No.
You ever saw that guy on TV selling those woks back in the 80s? I think he probably did that a time or two.
Now, I'd hate to see what that Yelp rating looks like.
Listen, I know a thing or two about a thing or two, and this is what you put inside your wok.
Excuse me, waiter, there's a penis in my soup. Quiet, or everybody else will want one.
Yes. Quiet. Yeah, don't. Everybody's going to want one of these. Keep your mouth shut.
Waiter, there's a penis in my soup. Wow. What's it doing there? Well, it looks like the backstroke.
That's okay, sir. The fly on the other side of the bowl will eat it up.
Anyhow.
What a dumb show this is.
It is a dumb show.
You know, we try, though. We try our hardest to make everybody happy here. Let's see. Best and worst cities for keeping your New Year's resolutions, right?
Okay.
Well, Southington, they were trying to say we're not going to walk into a Walgreens and expose ourselves. But
this is the year I give that up.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. We're not even. We are a full week into the new year.
Yeah, but they say by the second Friday, most people forget it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I swore off wanting to expose myself in drugstores, and I said no more going to Walgreens. But the urge just hit me. I couldn't take it anymore.
So I went to the Price Right.
Yeah.
I feel so cheap.
Yeah. That's one step worse than sugar gorging after said you were going to eat right this year.
Right.
Yeah. I'm swearing off exposing myself in any drugstore that I was used to doing. And then all of a sudden, 7 days in, here you are doing it again. Old habits die hard. Or soft, depending on which way he was exposing himself.
I got a prescription.
Yeah.
And the only way to fill it is to expose myself in line.
Yeah, do you get those extra Walgreens bucks or whatever? Is there like a discount? Some loincloths, perhaps?
You got your groin all covered with those big 10-foot receipts.
Do they sell heated loincloths? That would be kind of funny.
It would.
If you were really serious about your New Year's resolutions, you'd be willing to uproot your entire life to make them happen, which that guy didn't do. WalletHub.com just ranked 182 of the biggest cities in the country from the best places to keep New Year's resolutions to the worst, and we will go through each and every one of them right now.
Okay.
We'll just do 10. How about that?
Sure.
Rankings are based on various factors that tie in with common resolutions. That means things like gyms per capita, average credit card debt, local job opportunities, binge drinking rates, and percentage of smokers. The 10 best cities for sticking with your New Year's resolutions are Seattle, San Francisco, Scottsdale, Arizona,
right,
Austin, Texas, Atlanta, Portland, Oregon, Orlando, San Diego, Irvine, California, and Fremont, California.
And Springfield is not on the list?
Nope. The worst city is Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there.
Some other notable cities in the bottom 20 are Newark, New Jersey. You don't think those people could hold on to do a New Year's resolution anytime soon?
No, not a chance.
Detroit, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Toledo, Ohio, and North Las Vegas.
So Springfield's on the bottom 10.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah. I had a experience in Newark, New Jersey when I was probably 10 or 11 years old where my mother was driving my father to the airport.
Right.
And then she got lost. This was way before GPS and all that stuff. Trying to go back home, we got lost, and we wound up in downtown Newark, New Jersey.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
And it reminded me very much of Chevy Chase in Vacation, where they rolled into Chicago, and he said, "Excuse me, Holmes, could you help me find my way back to the interstate?" And F your mama.
Thank you.
Yeah, and my mother stopped and pulled over and asked this gentleman, if you will, on the side of the street, just hanging around, and this was like 11 o'clock at night. It was,
what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, a woman and her 11-year-old child in a little Plymouth Horizon.
Ooh,
one of those little
those
little hatchback kind of things. And she asked the man, and it was almost exactly like the movie played out. The guy's like telling her which way to go. It was the walking tour of Newark, New Jersey. A very lovely place at 11 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was something I'll never forget. And just like my mother going, "Oh, it's going to be okay. Don't worry." And then you hear like somebody screaming out the window and, loud bangs going off.
I had a friend of mine. This goes back a million years ago. We were in he and I were going to, it was a comedy competition in Chicago at the Improv. And we were driving. There was four of us going. And me and my friend were sitting in the back seat. Now, my friend was the only African-American in the car. So it's me, two of the guys, and my friend Brian. And we're driving through Cabrini Green, which is like one of the most dilapidated housing projects in America, okay? We're literally driving through that area. My friend decides to take a napkin, because there was a napkin in the back seat, put it in his mouth horizontally, and shove his face up into the window as if he had been a hostage.
Oh, that's always a smart idea to do.
He's laughing his ass off because we're all scared to death.
Right.
And he's looking like he's being held against his will in the back of a Plymouth Duster.
Yeah, I'm sure.
In Cabrini Green in Chicago.
Did anybody take note? Or
there were some people on the street that were pointing at him as we were driving by.
Yeah.
And the driver of the car was stepping on the gas a little bit.
Yeah, I would imagine
to get
so.
far out of the way.
Let's get out of here.
That was fun. I saw my life flash from my eyes.
How did the comedy contest go? That's what I really want to know.
Neither one of us won.
You know, it usually winds up that way, that you never really do that. You never really...
We both finished in the top third, so we felt pretty good about that.
Well, hey, at least there was some success to the trip.
Yes.
Good thing you didn't get arrested for kidnapping either. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be very windy and very cold. Wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour. That's going to last all the way until tomorrow afternoon. And a high of 25 today. It is 20. Feels like 8 in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Yeah.
Hey, Rock 102 excuse me, Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:53 in Nirvana with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Cold, windy today. Wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour and a high of 22. It is 17 right now, and it feels like 8 in downtown Springfield.
This week on Baxy's Musical Podcast, my guest is Cyril Jordan from the band The Flaming Groovies. Is a band that's had influence on garage rock, power pop, psychedelia. Some of their biggest fans include the Rolling Stones, Cheap Trick, Elton John. It's a very influential band, and the guys' stories from 1965 on are absolutely fascinating. It's a guy that needs to write a book, but you'll hear a lot of those stories in the interview. It's available on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the app. It's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Well, here's a good one. A man was banned from flying on United Airlines after allegedly urinating on a Bay Area resident during a flight from San Francisco to the Philippines.
You don't say.
Yeah. As if flying wasn't bad enough. You got somebody who's probably pre-gaming at the airport.
Yeah.
Drinking all his booze and then getting on and then getting blackout drunk so bad that you mistake the in-flight bathroom, mistake a passenger for the in-flight bathroom.
Right.
On December 27, Jerome Gutierrez of Hillsborough was traveling in business class on the, what kind of business was he doing?
Yeah. Drinking business.
Yeah, he was flying in business class on United Airlines, Flight 189 from San Francisco to Manila, when, according to his stepdaughter, a man got up from his seat and began urinating on him about 4 hours into the flight. Stewardess, can I have a hot towel, please?
Yeah, and a pillow.
He was asleep and buckled in and was surprised when he looked at the man and thought he was dreaming. Nicole Cornell, Gutierrez's stepdaughter, told the San Francisco Gate in an email, and after the man had finished, Jerome realized he was soaked from his stomach down in the man's urine.
Oh, God.
Cornell wrote that the United flight attendants asked Gutierrez not to approach the man in fear that there would be a confrontation and he would become violent. Cornell said that United provided Gutierrez with pajamas to wear after he was urinated on. They put the needs of the airline before my stepdad's health, Cornell wrote. I am so disgusted and in shock with how United handled this. This is a biohazard, and the plane should have been turned around to address the issue. United Airlines spokesperson Anusha Rasta confirmed to the San Francisco Gate that there was a passenger disturbance on the flight and that the airline asked police to meet the aircraft when it arrived in Manila. We have banned this passenger, she wrote in an email. Cornell said the man apologized to her parents and begged them not to press charges.
So, as far as the guy that got soiled, not the guy that did the soiling, but the recipient of all this, did he at least get some extra mileage plus points on this flight or like a voucher?
Hey, You got a brand new pair of pajamas. Do you really think you should be yapping your trap about how you didn't get anything good out of this?
United Airlines pajamas, how good can they possibly be?
Oh, I'm sure. United. It's not like you're getting Spirit pajamas, which is just a rubber band and a
which is like a thin paper poncho that you'd get like an MRI somewhere.
Yeah, like that bath mat I was telling you at the Seekonk Motor Lodge, which was just a piece of paper and a pelican on it that said "Thank you for coming." That means two things.
It's 8:58 at Rock 102.